Today we are making a flat bread. We found this recipe on the internet and this is the first time we're trying it. In the bowl here we have 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon here, well a little less than a tablespoon because this is dried rosemary, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of regular salt. And this is going to get mixed up, so we can just spread that out. And into this is going to go 1/2 cup of water and 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, which I have already in a bowl here.
You're going to make a well in the middle,
make
right?
a well in the middle.
Fill the well.
Goes. Okay.
Now you have the olive oil in that too?
Yes.
So that was 1/2 cup of water and a third
cup
of
olive oil. And then this just gets mixed until it comes together. Even though this is a flat bread, there's no yeast in it, which is good because we don't have any. But we did just by
right. We're trying to make what so it will become a crispy flatbread.
Yes.
As opposed to a soft, flexible flatbread. Which there seems to be an abundance of recipes for the soft.
Yeah, this came together very nicely. Now you're supposed to knead this just like 3 or 4 times. I guess kind of like a biscuit, that you don't overwork it. And I'm just going to use this cookie sheet to turn it out on. And get all of this together. Okay. And we'll just bring this together and knead it a few times. I know kneading has something to do with the gluten and getting it all together. All right, it feels moist, but it's not sticky. I kind of like the way sometimes I make doughs and they're just so sticky. Now, I'm supposed to divide this into thirds. I'm going to cook it a third at a time.
You got my little metal thing.
Yeah, well, I'll just use the knife about there, I guess, and then about there. We have the oven preheating to 450, which is a pretty hot oven. I'm just covering these with paper because we're working one at a time, and I'm just going to make this a little round. And what we have to do is roll this out on parchment paper. So here's our parchment paper. And we need to roll this out, they said about 10 inches. I know, it's so hard to roll on parchment paper. You know, let me roll on the cookie sheet, then I'll put it on the parchment paper.
Okay.
I think that, oh yeah, that's better, see. Well, they did say it could be rugged looking.
Rustic.
Rustic. So that's going to be rustic. There we go. That's about 10 inches. Now, the reason we're going to put it on paper, because go upside down, so that it'll roll up. The instructions say in the oven I have a cookie sheet, and this is just going to get put on top of the cookie sheet that's been heating in there. So, dry my hands so I don't burn myself.
You want to roll it anymore?
Nope. It said about 10 inches, and that's about 10.
Okay.
You think? About 10? I'll give it one more roll. This was on the table.
That's all right. The table was clean.
Yeah, but now the table's dirty because this was on it.
Okay.
Guys, don't understand. All right, so I'm just going to put this like this right on top of the cookie sheet that's in here.
Okay, so it's going into the oven. And how long is that going to cook for?
8 to 10 minutes. So let's look at the time.
All right.
Like 29 after.
And we'll go through the process of this. We'll show when she gets that back out, so that she can. But then we'll do all the three, and maybe we'll show the end result at the end of this. Then, okay.
Well, I have to tell you that I completely forgot to tell you about one of the steps, which is after this is rolled out, you brush the top with olive oil and sprinkle sea salt on top.
It's just before you put it in the oven.
Just before you put it in the oven. I just took some olive oil and sort of spread it out and put the sea salt on it. This just came out, and you can see it's stiff, so I guess it is going to be crispy. I had this cooling rack. This one came out first, so I'll put this on a plate, and then there'll be room for the last one to go out. There's one more that I'm going to do, so we'll have 3 of them this size. I would say if you're going to keep these for a day or so, make sure they're completely cool before you put them in an airtight container, or maybe a Ziploc bag would even work well. And that's so that no moisture gets in there and makes them soggy if you want them nice and crisp. And there they are. We haven't tasted them yet, but they smell delicious because of the rosemary. And here, let's just give it a little... Oh, they are crispy.
Well, here.
Oh, it's very good. It is very good.
Bake a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's very good. And I think in the recipe they suggest, you could put a spread on it, pesto, cream cheese,
And that's plain
jelly.
flour.
Flour, rosemary, a little bit of salt, a little bit of baking powder, then the water and the olive oil, sea salt sprinkled on top.
There's no egg or anything. Right?
No egg or anything. It's very tasty. I would make this also maybe with a garlic powder in it, make it garlic flavor. Give it a try. It's really good.